Hello, hello, come on in. Good evening. Hopefully everyone's doing good. I was just looking, this light is not that great, but hopefully when I get to my overview hands, it works out just fine. Oh, it's good to see some of you guys' names here. It looks like a few of you I recognize. Say hi in the chat. Feel free to say hi. Hello. Hello, Terry. Hello, Linda. How are you? All right, guys. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so today's event, we are going to be basically just playing to create with some of the featured sets. And so the spotlighted sets are sets that we choose each month just to kind of focus on. And if you already own them in your collection, hopefully some of the ideas that we share tonight, spark some ideas of your own and gives you kind of that itch to pull them out and create with them again. If you don't own these sets yet, hopefully some of the ideas I share with you inspire you to add them to your collection in a variety of different ways and just show the versatility, but also most importantly, to show the power of using the designer templates as that designing tool to help get you started, to kind of help inspire you in your scrapbooking ideas for layout options, and then of course to get you to that finish line of finishing a layout by just using it as that template at that point. So if some of you guys are new to Kiwi Lane, let me know if you guys have any questions, or if you're not new to Kiwi Lane, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'm happy to stop while you guys have me in this event, answer any questions related to any of the steps of the process. All right, guys. Hello, Kathy. Thanks for saying hi. Okay, so let me make sure this pins. There we go. Perfect. All right, so the featured sets, well, the sets that I'm going to be focusing on is Lacey trims. How many of you guys own Lacey trims already? Super fun set. I actually have to hold myself back sometimes from grabbing that one too many times. Blossom, perfect for going into the spring. Just kind of get you in that spring vibe. Say goodbye to winter. It's always a fun time to pull this one out and live a little bit in your creations and that. And then Love at Home. And Love at Home, I believe, if you don't have this one already, just know that this one is actually free with a $35 order during the month of February. And Blossom currently is 15% off. And if you're a Kiwi Club member, it's 30% off during the month of February as well. Okay. All right. So to start off with, I do want to kind of just play with Lacey trims. And honestly, guys, I don't really ever have much in mind when I'm about to play. I want it to kind of be organic and just kind of play together to see what we can create. So right off the bat, I wanted to kind of share some initial things when we designed Lacey trims. We wanted to keep it open so that you can intertwine, say, borders, a fun border through it. So I just pulled in Eli Avenue really quickly just to kind of see, and this can work with a lot of various borders for sure, but it's super fun to, weave things in and out of any one of these designs. And it just depends on what you're creating. You may just use one of the Lacey trims. You may use like a few in different areas of your layout. Lacey trims also, because of its size, this is a set that from the accessory category, I would suggest is like a foundational item. So what I mean by that is when you look at a set like Lacey trims, or let me think of other ones, gadgets, brackets has that kind of feature about it. This is one where I tend to kind of layer behind or tuck in and then cluster maybe some other elemental accessories around it. So see how it just kind of gives a great foundation to build on top of. And so just notice that as I'm kind of playing. So when I look at something that's a little bit larger like that, let's pull out a different border here. So again, they can be great for tucking. I actually love that about Lacey trims too. And again, that's just one of them, or you can go for more of this sunburst and it completely will adjust that vibe just a little bit. You could do it where it tucks behind the border and comes back out again. You also, even though the ring is here to help inspire in creative design ideas, like I was sharing, you can thread it. Well, there's a lot of things you can do with that. Just know that, like, looking at this and telling yourself, well, I don't want it to be, I want it to be a full burst in this case, right? So when you trace it and cut it out of your paper, maybe you won't trace that centerpiece out because in your design you had not planned on it. So you can kind of see it through that lens a few different ways in how you visually create your page, right? All right, so focusing still on, again, any of these little circles in here are super fun. You know, let me pull out a photo. I just had one. Where did I put it? Where it could be your photos in the center of one of the Lacey trims, right? And or you want to crop down a photo. I'm not going to crop down my photo. I'm going to use my handy photo templates in this case to help give me that visual aid. So let's say we wanted to, you know, I think maybe one of the smaller borders in this case. Let's go back to kind of this design. And then we can have our photo coming like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and pull in some of this blossom, which is also another featured set. And look how cute that is. Something so simple and easy, kind of tucked in the center of that circle. And then I would, of course, fill in my spots with additional pictures, however you lay those out. So we'll just kind of quickly finish a layout with that in mind. And then let me grab the other side of my border here. So I technically pulled out 2A. I'm going to pull out 2B, and we're going to move that to the right side. You can mirror the same type of design decisions. So meaning, like in this side, I had chosen the design to intertwine it. I could choose to maybe mimic that same effect over here. Doing something like that. Do something like that. Or what if we do where this is more around your photos. So I've been playing a lot with the Lacey trims around your borders, but they can also be really cute to add, again, a little bit of structure, foundational elements where you can have a pop of color, more design elemental than versus like having a specific, you know, title or something coming out of it. And then you can add a few more pictures like this. I think you could even play around, maybe add a little, I was looking at this thinking like a cute little butterfly here or something. Okay, so layout number 1, utilizing just the Lacey trims, throwing in some accent pieces from Blossom. And then I did use Eli Avenue on the border, and then a few photos. So as you can see, as you give yourself kind of permission to play, and so this is just kind of a reminder, because I know how it kind of has to be conditioned to allow yourself to play around with the designs. And this first phase of using the templates to design really do help spark ideas. And also just seeing beyond some of those design elements. So hopefully, as I shared the Lacey trims, kind of looking at it, utilizing it as a base, and then building up around that foundational design with your borders and other accessories really is nice. Okay, so let's create another layout to see what we can spark as far as that goes. I do love how these layered as well. Look how cute. You can get a really cute layering effect with those two. And you can see again, as the size takes up a good portion. So if you want to use half, you can use half. If you want to tuck it into a border, for example, again, you can do where it kind of tucks out and around. You don't have to do the inside of those. It also could be cute to have that be a place where your title is spotlighted in that. And then you could even put a picture with the title around it. So that could be super cute. I believe I even used this one. It was a large donut on a page once. So I cut it out of some plain cardstock, added a little center using the rings for like a frosting effect, and then just doodled some sprinkles kind of elements onto it. That was a really fun page. All right, so let me go ahead and let's play around. We throw out Eli border. Actually, I want to pull out Paisley Place. I was imagining Paisley Place, one, because of the border that has this larger set here. And I think that that could be fun to add maybe this design to layer on top. Because of its size, it almost just kind of follows down on that wave a little bit. So that's really fun too, to do something like that. You don't have to use the whole thing. So technically you could just trim this in half, and you could use them as half rings. So for example, maybe if you did that on this side and just kind of imagine that being traced and you cut it in half, I would then do like a little cute thing here. And then again, when I go to do my opposite side, I would do half here as well. And maybe we'll trace and cut that out. But then this gives you a little place where you could layer on top. I love Blossom because it does give you just kind of this wild flower. It's very wild in its nature. But of course, depending on the paper or the patterns you cut it out of, it really changes that mood. But with the Blossom 1, 5, and 2, you get instantly this nice cluster without a lot of work to accomplish it. And so you can really play on those. Sometimes when I want an easy page, I just go for some simple layers, and it looks like I spent hours doing it, and I just went and did just a few layers, and it always turns out beautiful. I love that. Okay, and then of course, you could throw some more photos in here on this. Now, I do want to talk about photos. I actually had somebody ask me about photos recently, and I'm trying to remember exactly how her question was, but she was talking about how she tends to cover her borders a lot with photos. And so she was asking about how, you know, maybe some suggestions. She felt like if she covered her borders all up, literally, you know, then why did she cut the border out? And so I had expressed to her, you know, just really kind of when you're working with your photos and your borders and accessories, it's just kind of moving around and rearranging them for them to kind of be incorporated into each other. So instead of maybe layering them on top of your photo, you can incorporate them along the edge of the photo. So this is a natural go-to. I know I've shared this before, but it really helps give it a clean, straight look with your photos, but still allow the movement of the borders to kind of frame in those pictures. And so really looking at that and seeing if that works. And then of course, you can always throw in another border to kind of ground those pictures a little bit more. Super cute. And you don't really have to overthink it either. So like say, if I trace this out and cut it in half, let me find a piece of paper that I'm willing to cut out of this. Super cute pattern. And then we will trim it in half so that you guys can see how cute that design on these Lacey trims are in half. You think out of all this paper, it would be so easy just to pull one out. Let me see what I got here. Lots of papers. Okay. I am gonna use this cute pattern, because I can use it again on my page that I'm working on. And this will be super cute with a Lacey trims vibe. So if I was going to do half, I would only trace out the half of Lacey trims onto my paper when I go to cut it out. Now, if I wanted to do half here and maybe pull on the other half over here, then you could just trace out a full one and then just cut it in half. In that you could do that too. I am going to want to do that because I want to show that it's a really fun balance, even with Lacey trims, to do that with. And so lots of fun ways you can incorporate those. Okay. I wasn't necessarily planning on tracing and cutting, but we're gonna do it. So I was like, I don't know where my other pencils and scissors went. I feel like a broken record when it comes to where are my scissors, but you know, I'm still trying to put everything back where it goes. Now, if you want the center, which I do think it will be cute, you want to trace that out. Excuse me, hold on. Whew, I had a little bit of a cough. All right. So we're going to go ahead and trace that out. Boy, what is going on? And then we're going to trim and cut that out. Okay, so, oh my goodness, sorry guys. I want to go live. Give me 2 seconds. All right, hopefully that little itch is gone. So what I'm going to do is just glide this through my scissors and cut out this Lacey trims. Now on these scallops, I will say you do want to slow down your cuts a little bit so that you get this angled cut. Now, personally, I think, you know, little fun scallops of variety of sizes is kind of cute. So we actually designed some scallops with that in mind where they're not as synced. But these, of course, are kind of just a consistent motion in these. Oh, before I cut it in half, I do want to share with you guys. So if I had cut that out, right, and you wanted to use it as a full ring, similar to what we recommended with our actual ring set, is that you could poke in and cut the inside out, or you could just slit in and then cut around it. And you'll notice this in any of the samples or, you know, that you'll see. Just look closely when you see Lacey trims or rings being used. We have just kind of conditioned, for the most part, when we design with them, that wherever that ring might be, say if we wanted the full size of Lacey trims, kind of back to our layout number 1, where maybe we did like the photo in here and it's the full round view here, right? Then what you could do is just where you made that slit is maybe where you have a cute little flower or something kind of layered over that. And then you would, of course, wouldn't see that at all. Now, I'm going to cut this in half because even like rings, so maybe you see a sample and it's using rings, but maybe you want to add a little bit more character, then using these Lacey trims could be a fun little change. And of course, Lacey trims with rings is super cute. If you haven't played with those 2 combinations yet, super, super fun. And then of course, I probably have my photos. That could be cute where you kind of have these 2 and then maybe a smaller one on the left there. And then I pull over to my other side, this other rings here. We could do that. Or you can layer one behind and one in front. So it kind of goes behind the border in front of the other one in that case. That's super fun too. And again, the same thing for this other design in Lacey trims where it's more of that sunburst. That's a really fun one to do halfsies basically on those as well. And then you can layer whatever elements maybe you want in the space. We could do another border here. So lots of fun ways that you can create with Lacey trims. And then of course, the blossom in and of itself really does a lot of the work. So you can layer with the flowers, you can add a little element cluster and just add those to offset. And on the embellishment side, just kind of keep in mind if you're, so like even looking at this right here, I'm kind of heavy on the bottom of my page. So it might be better if I did like, let me just rotate that. And maybe we put it on this side of our page. If you like the whole, you know, Lacey trims kind of going up where that wave goes down. And this is going to move the weight from the bottom and then move it back to the top instead of having all the weight at the bottom of your page. And sometimes I kind of start designing and then I'll just look like, is it heavy in any spot? Does it have any kind of spaces that are empty? Not empty as far as white space specifically. I'm okay with white space, but empty in the sense of like aesthetically or feels like it's limited. Even then, if you start to see something like that, really what I recommend is to kind of start with the elements that you are confident about, and then you just add little details, like little extra details as you go along. I always call those the like last details kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, Susie, you need to listen. I really don't know where my black ones are though. I feel so silly even saying that. I own a Fisker one, I own a Tim Holtz one, I own a Cutterbee one, and I actually own 2 Tim Holtz ones, guys. So I'm just gonna have to get a chain because this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I've had this conversation too many times. All right, and then I wanted to share really quickly the Love at Home. And I think actually Love at Home is really cute because of how simple effect that it has. And it just has this kind of spotlighted effect where it speaks on its own without having to kind of dress it up too much. Maybe you can add a little greenery just for the effect of it, but see how cute and simple that is? It just really honestly, it captures your attention, like it draws you to there. I feel like the moment I changed that flower out for that home, it was a different approach, but it stands on its own very well. It doesn't need much around it to kind of hold it up in that case. So lots of fun. I love Lacey trims. I love Blossom, and they're super fun. I am looking forward to actually creating with these in the PJ Playdate. For those of you that are Kiwi Club members, I'm going to be using it with my Kiwi Club samples because I just kind of whatever featured sets, those are the ones that I'm like, sweet, those are the ones I'm going to use. It helps, again, give me a little bit of a focus for a given layout instead of being like, well, I have so many options. What should I do? And so it really helps kind of, you know, again, give you that checklist of focus. So super cute. I was just looking at this design, thinking with this house, it could be cute. Of course, I wouldn't do both of those, but look how cute that little sunburst coming out behind that photo with that there. And if you wanted to pull in another border, because you can layer with the borders and accomplish a little bit more of that substance with maybe just adding another border. So these 2 pairs are both from Paisley Place. You can never go wrong with Paisley Place. And then over on the other side, we could do, again, see how instantly just even throwing in, if it's not an embellishment accessory, it can be another border from the same set that you're creating with, and it will give it a little bit more substance within the layers of the borders. So that's super fun too. All right, guys, well, hopefully one of these ideas helped. Do you guys have any questions? Let me look really fast. layering under some paper. Like, oh yeah, scissors. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Thanks for showing me again. My picture not covering the board. Yes, Gwen, you're welcome. And then of course I have a video on that as well. Sorry, I guess my voice tonight, I better not be getting a throat thing. I don't think I am. I think I just had a dry throat. All right, any other questions while you guys have me? Any questions on cutting any of these elements? As far as the floral goes, this is a round design, so I recommend going one way and then back the other way. As far as the techniques go, anytime I see like a round shape, that's usually how I approach it. Okay. Well, hopefully some of these ideas inspired you and gave you kind of that nice basic sketch. Because that's really what you're doing. You're creating your own sketch when you allow yourself to just play with the designer templates, and then you don't have to go pull from that. Now, granted, we all need inspiration. So if you're pulling out an idea book and you're recreating something similar, then build it up, visualize it with your designer template so that you can have that visual reference. So it should hopefully eliminate the unknown, the fear, and give you a springboard to get started. Because getting started sometimes is that, it's not even sometimes, it is often the hardest part of just getting the momentum. So encouraging yourself to just play, to come up with the design, which is step one. And then from there, it's a simple trace, cut, ink, replace, and then pull in any other goodies that you want. All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys at the next event. And until next time, keep playing to create, and we'll see you guys in the community. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye now. Bye, guys.